Hello and good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you. It's a ladies' night tonight.
Watch out.
Yes, our good friend Scott, he's off on assignment, so we're going to hold it down in studio, get you ready for the 11 p.m. news tonight. Before we get in, let's let them know their cue of the day because we're going to get to weather. But we want people to finish the sentence. I could celebrate my mom all year by... ... you fill in the blank. What could you do to celebrate your mom all year?
I like that
And then
one.
if your mom is passed, or your mom might not be around, it could be any woman in your life. What would you do to celebrate them all year? And so we're going to break down some of ours. But let's get a kick things off with a look at the weather.
It was kind of muggy today.
Yeah,
Well,
it was
humid.
surprisingly warm.
77.
It was a bit thick. My hair feels it. It swells. It gets bigger and bigger.
Had I not had my chemical treatment on Friday, mine would be rather large as well. But it's amazing how that still works.
There you go.
But it was muggy and it was warm, and we did have some showers and thunderstorms. But live Doppler 13 radar is pretty quiet right now, which is good news. And we didn't get any severe weather. They had a handful of severe thunderstorm warnings and a couple of tornado warnings off to our east across parts of Ohio. And as we back up radar, you can clearly see where the storm line intensified across the central sections of Ohio. The storms are now moving into the eastern part of that state and toward the east coast. So we're in the clear in terms of any rain, but the clouds are going to hang around tomorrow, and it is going to be a cooler day. Our wind will come out of the north behind this cold front. So instead of warm and muggy, it's going to be cloudy and definitely feeling cooler. We'll be 50 at 8 a.m., 56 at noon, and highs tomorrow in the low to mid 60s. Back into the 60s for highs on Thursday. Most of Thursday will be dry until we get into late in the day, and that's when we'll have rain chances returning during the afternoon. And then the steadiest rain will fall Thursday night into Friday. So we mentioned this kind of yesterday, an active weather pattern with a couple of rain chances this week. We had one today, and we get another one Thursday night into Friday. The problem with this Friday system is it's going to be a slow mover. The heavy rain definitely moves out as we start the weekend, but you'll notice the back edge of the cloud cover, the back edge of the showers, Des Moines to about St. Louis. And so what that means for us as we get into Saturday, and a very important Saturday, the first big Saturday of the month of May, and we have the mini marathon coming up, there will be that potential for a few spotty showers. And again, today's high was 77. But we'll be concerned with the weather system that moves through the end of the week. It slows down. We get a little bit of rain activity. Nothing heavy, but a couple showers around for the mini, and maybe a lingering shower to start Rev on Saturday evening. If you're lucky enough to have tickets, that event is sold out. But if you're lucky enough to be going or have any Saturday night plans, a few showers early, and then we'll start to clear things out just in time for Mother's Day.
Oh.
This system better get out of here. The last two Mother's Days, if I can remember, they've been rainy, really rainy, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not usually, Sean is much better.
And the last
keeping
mini was very rainy.
Yeah,
Yes.
so I'm ready for this to change.
Okay, well, hopefully this will be the one. Fingers crossed. I mean, we'll be out there working, so we definitely want it to be rain-free if possible. I saw the video and the pictures from last year. You guys were
Under
soaked.
the umbrella.
Umbrella did no good. You were soaked.
Yeah. Well, and also I was talking to the people from Rev today. There's going to be 3,200 people there and 72 restaurants.
Oh,
and then a
wow.
multitude of bands and volunteers. So there are thousands and thousands of people that are not only attending, but also just about as many working out there at the event. And so the weather is a big factor if you're going to be serving up food or playing in the bands or volunteering out there.
Good point. Okay, so if you're just now joining us, our good friend Scott, he's off on assignment tonight, but we're holding you down. Our question of the evening, our statement of the evening we want you to finish is, I could celebrate my mom all year by... ... You fill in the blank. And of course, if your mom's not around, maybe there's another special lady that you could celebrate all year. What would you do by doing that? And of course, also make sure you're checking in. Tell us where you're checking in from, where you're watching from, and what city you're representing, what town you're representing. So if you could finish that sentence, Angela, what would you?
I would say being happy, because if I'm happy, if the rest of my family's happy, then my mama is happy.
Oh, that's
She's one of those
sweet.
people.
Yeah,
It's so true.
You know, it is
say
true
like
now that I'm
mother-
a mom too.
Yes.
It's like, oh, as long as everyone in my tribe is, happy,
That's
then
a
I'm
blessing.
happy. It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My mom says, you'll see one day.
You will
That's what
see.
she's always
You
telling
will
me.
see
You'll
one
see
day.
one day. What
Yeah,
about
my
you?
dad always says you're only as happy as your least happy child. You know, and
I've
so
heard
you
that.
do want your children to be happy. I mean, my mom and I are very close, and we talk on the phone every day. I call her every day. You know, she's always like, oh, I was, you know, I call her and she goes, oh, I was just texting you. I was just thinking, you know, thinking about you. One of the things that we love to do together is we both love gardening, and so. You know, now I help her plant her flowers every spring, and all summer she'll be like, oh, the dahlias are blooming, or oh, you know, so every conversation, you know, that's one of the things that we talk about. And then when I visit, you know, that's the thing we do is we kind of tour around and check on everything. But that's something that she learned from her mother, shared with me, and that we continue to share.
A love of just nature, being outside and gardening.
And pretty flowers.
And she wants you to call her more.
Always. Always. Well, she always, like, when I call, it's always like it's such a big of it. She's just always so excited.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like, you know, a mom. It's like, well, I call you every day.
Well, you guys get so excited when your kids call.
Yes, we do.
So their kids call like during commercial breaks, before the shows, after the shows,
yes. All
and
the
they are
time.
so into it. I'm like, that's so sweet.
Yes,
how about
and
you?
You're all coming home from college.
Yes, yeah, mine will be home this weekend. I'm very much looking forward to it.
Yeah.
I would tell my mom, thank you more. I think I talk about my mom to other people so often, and I'm like, oh, I should probably tell her that. You know, I'm telling you guys how, well, you know, I tell you how annoying she is too, but I tell you how awesome she is and all the great things she does for me. You guys know that she makes me lunch when she's in
Meal
town.
prep.
Right, and she takes, you know, she just helps my life. She'll do laundry when she's in town, and just all those things that I appreciate, and how she still loves me today.
Yep.
I need to tell her this, what I'm telling you right now. I need to tell her more. You know, they always say give your loved ones their flowers while they can still smell them.
Oh,
So
I like
I
that
need to say
saying.
thank you more.
Speaking of flowers, Candace says flower and iced tea, so I assume she is answering our question about mothers and her mother, what she would do. Okay, and a lot of people don't think it felt muggy today. It was just me. It was you and me.
Yeah, okay, we're the only ones. But humidity is good. You know, they say it's good for your skin, your hair, it's good for your bones.
Peggy says
Get 'em
moms
moving.
are the best.
Yeah.
Joyce says, by living by her standards and teachings.
Okay.
Yes, that's a good way to
Yes.
honor your mom every day.
Tanya says my mom's happy when I have enough food in the fridge and not worried or stressed about something.
Yeah, yeah.
She's making her mom's spaghetti for Mother's Day.
So we'll read some more in just a minute, because Shelby is asking, can we talk about the protest?
Oh,
We're going to
sure.
touch on the protest just a little bit. Our Rachel Krause was out there today, and I believe we have a little bit of video from that. She said that it was a bit difficult to tell, you know, whose side. It was different people. This is a very divisive issue. People on both sides out there protesting and standing up for what they believe in after we have received a draft of the Supreme Court's decision. This is just a draft that abortion could be overturned. Roe v. Wade could be overturned. Again, not final, just a draft, but people took to downtown Indy to make sure that their voice was heard today.
Right, and that would not be final until a vote in June or July, and the justices, you know, they could change their position between now and then, and this would be at the federal level, meaning that the decision about whether abortions would be legal or not and under what circumstances would be a state decision. And so you can see here, choice is a human right. You know, some of the groups that were out there, you know, abortion and abortion rights is something that we have covered in the news for a long, long time. And it has been one of those things that when we've seen protesters in the past, just very emotional and actually kind of going at each other initially. Over time, I think that the groups have not been so combative at each other during the protests here in Indianapolis specifically is what I'm talking about. And so the fact that when Rachel was there, and she consistently said that she couldn't, you have to read the signs, but it wasn't like the protesters today lined up one here and one there, and then you could have a very clear distinction between the two groups. Perhaps, you know, as they get more organized, you know, this news came out today, maybe we'll see that. But today, just a lot of people wanting to go out and say, I care strongly about this issue, and so I'm going to come out here and let people know that we're taking note of this.
Yes.
Here in Indiana, a very conservative state, would be different than perhaps the response that you would see when you were in Chicago.
Yes, it is very different, and that I'm glad you brought that up, because I think there's something to be said about seeing both sides of an issue. And so from a journalist perspective, you know, that's my job, is to understand both sides of the issue. But I would encourage everyday citizens. It may not be what you want, and I'm not saying do it to change your mind. Just do it to hear another side. That's all. Even if you don't agree with them, not advocating for either one. Listen to the other side, work to understand the other side, and just see what you come up with. I think it'll definitely lead to more peaceful days like today, but still more impassioned, educated conversations, and we certainly need more of those in person and on social media as well. I will say, coming up at 11, we're going to hear from a woman that has gotten an abortion. She's going to give her perspective. We're also going to, the big questions are, what can Congress do if this is overturned and the Supreme Court moves forward? What action, if any action at all, can Congress take? And then how does this affect our state locally? What does that mean? These are the things we're going to break down at 13 News at 11 p.m. So we hope you'll join us for that. But before we go, let's get one more check of the weather.
The rain is gone. Will be cloudy tomorrow. Temperatures in the 60s and not quite as warm as today.
Okay, always good to know. We appreciate everyone chiming in tonight. Tanya, Jennifer, Glenn, we always see Glenn, Jenny, Brian, Sharon, you guys, you help us keep on moving through the evening.
Definitely.
You help us keep going in the evening. So we appreciate your presence online, on social media, wherever you might be watching from. And be sure to tune in to 13 News at 11.